my name's Michael Gilmore and I'm the writer of Whizbang's blog. It's really good to have you here with me once again. This is a part of a series I'm doing for the 10th anniversary of Whizbang's blog. Yes, I know I've been writing a long time and I've had a few less grey hairs back then when I first started, that's for sure. But what I want to discuss in this video is some thoughts around domain sales. Domain sales is obviously a hot topic. Everyone wants to talk about domain sales, whether it be to the Chinese and the 4-character and the 3-character, 2-character sort of .coms and things like that. Oh, does it have a number 8 in it, or can't have any vowels or any of these other characters. They're all obviously interesting discussions themselves. I must admit, a couple of years ago, I made a killing in that market, so I was pretty happy with it in the end. But some thoughts here around domain sales. There's two main camps of domain sales. The first camp is stock items. The second camp I'll discuss is the high value domains. Actually, I'll tackle the high value domains for a start. A high value domain will typically be a .com. Anything over about 10 grand or more is classified really as a high value type of domain. Some of these really top end domains will go for millions of dollars. And you may say, well, yes, that's a domain I want, millions of dollars. So how does a domain get valued at that? Like I've been looking at many people who've sold multi-million-dollar domains, and they're typically speaking single word .coms. Or the top end I'm talking about. But more than that, the people who are selling the domains have two things in common. One is they really don't need the money, and two, they're very happy to say no. So what does this mean? Is that if you're in a position where you're thinking, gee, where's my next mortgage payment coming from? You're probably not going to sell $1 million domain. Why? Because you need the 50 grand just to make up your bill payments. So when you take a look at your own portfolio, and let's imagine you have $1 million domain in there, what you think is worth $1 million. Number one, I would talk to some other people and have chat to some brokers and things like that, just make sure you're not smoking something. The secondly is ask yourself, are you under financial pressure? With which case, you're not going to hold out for the $1 million deal. Yeah, so to take a look at your domains in that light, because there's two pressures. One is, are you under pressure as a seller? And the second one is the buyer under pressure to acquire the domain? Is it because they got some sort of campaign they want you to run? This is the big global campaign, advertising campaign, so this is the ideal domain? Or is there some other impetus for this particular domain of why they want it? If you're sort of saying to yourself, I know what I'll do is I'm going to blackmail some brand owners by sitting on a typo of their brand, everything like that, just be prepared to spend your life in court. So I do not recommend that. I'm talking about real generic domains at the top end. Okay, so a few other things about that. I think that at the top end, the other thing is you can either be just waiting for the inbound queries to come along, and you can sit back and say, well, I'll just respond to them, because they're obviously going to be of more interest typically. If someone makes an offer on domain, they say, here's $20,000 for a particular domain, then you know they're reasonably serious anyway. That you may then push them up to like a whole huge amount. That's negotiation skills then. But on the other hand, if you get someone who says, here's $50 for the domain, you'll probably just ignore it. They're not really serious about the value of the domain, and they have no concept of value. So that's responding to the inbound queries. But then how about outbound queries? I wrote a whole series on this a couple of years ago on how to sell a domain in an outbound query. Put it this way, if you're wanting $1 million for a domain, you're not going to get someone who says, yeah, Michael, I've got $1 million I'm just dying to spend on this particular domain. I'm so glad you have it. Please give me your bank account details. I'll send you the $1 million and you send me the domain. That's just not going to happen. Any company which has $1 million to spend on a domain name, it's going to go through massive numbers of approval processes and so forth. It'd be very rare that it'll be an individual. I'm not saying it can't be, but it'll be very rare that an individual will just quickly make a decision themselves. So it's going to go through approval processes. Then you think, okay, if it's going to go through approval processes within an organization, I need to put something together which justifies the value of the domain. How can I put something together? So you can have a whole deck. You then have to find within the organization someone who can champion why this is such an important thing for the company to go along and acquire your particular domain. Then you got to provide lots of information for them as well. So it's not just the deck, you provide some back-end information. So when they go along and sit in a boardroom or sit in a decision-making meeting, then they've got all the information at their fingertips and they feel like they're being a hero. Your job is to make them look like a hero. It could be also that you need to jump on a plane and actually go and fly somewhere to sell your $1 million domain. I'm always amazed at the number of people who've got a serious buyer interested in a domain name and they won't even bother to meet them face to face. It's crazy. If it's going to, for the sake of a few $100 airfare or something like that, to spend some time with the organization, going through with the team why this domain name will be so valuable to them and so forth, that there is going to be gold for the organization, but it'll raise the conversion rate for you selling these large value domains up enormously. And this is all about doing the outbound sales. The other thing to understand is that corporations, people make the mistake of thinking, oh, they've just got lots of money, therefore they should spend lots of money. The only reason why they got lots of money is because they don't spend lots of money. They're wise with their money. And so you'll find there's like 20 sign-offs in order to be able to spend $1 million. And to spend $1 million will climb all the way up to very high levels in the organization, depending upon its size. And so you need to get those sign-offs and work your way through the organization, which means don't expect a fast decision. I see a lot of domain investors, they go, so-and-so said yes in the organization, and they go, hey, and they pop corks and all that sort of stuff, champagne corks. And then they go, it's not happening yet. Why? No, that was yes. That's number one of 19 more to go. So it just takes a long time. But not only that, is that there's always going to be a business case. And so you've got to really sharpen your mind into thinking, okay, what's the business case for this company to buy my awesome domain? What is that business case, and how you can construct that business case is really important. In fact, there are some articles on my blog here about how I would recommend tackling that issue. The other thing is this, is how to get into organizations. There's a lot of techniques in this of how to get into organizations and how to get past the gatekeepers and all that sort of stuff. And that's a skill in itself. And that's something that a lot of people just don't realize. But anyway, so that's talking about high value domains, low value domains, like stock items. They're a whole different kettle of fish in themselves. And I did a lot of research across the last 12 months, in fact, how to better price domains based upon demand and looking at the keywords, the Google keyword search tool and all that sort of thing. And I really dove into that and looking at creating a supply and a demand curve and more accurately pricing domains. I think that domains on the whole are badly priced. The typical reaction is always, I'll sell it or depending upon what the buyer is willing to pay. Yeah, there's some pros and cons with that and everything like that. But and there is some sense in it. But jeepers, we also all know that if you price your domains, then you'll sell more of them. So just copying out and not putting any price on them or putting an obscene price on them doesn't make you more intelligent, just makes you, if you ask me, dumber. do I want to go along and sell one domain a year at $10,000, or do I want to go along and sell 10 domains at $5,000? I know I'll take the 10 at 5, thank you. Yeah, so it's that sort of thing, and trying to get that pricing is really difficult. People spend a lot of time on this in every other industry. I think it's time that many domain owners spend some time on their own portfolios and really thinking about pricing. I even tackled the issue around bundle pricing. Is it better to say, okay, I'm not just selling this one domain, I'm selling a whole suite of domains in this market vertical. Or here's this leading domain and I'm selling it for $10,000, but by the way, for another $5,000 I'll bundle these other 3 or 4 other domains along with it. So a lot of things you can talk about with pricing and also with stock item type domains. And once again, I could probably spend the rest of today on this, but I think that'll do for our video. It's been really good talking with you, and I hope you found this as thought-provoking and begin to think about, okay, so what is it with domains and how can I sell better and so forth. Anyway, it's been great talking with you. See you later. Bye.